My trip to Bangkok. Chapter 1. First day in Bangkok. Landing in Bangkok was an adventure from the very start. The airport was busy with people from all over the world. I felt excited and a bit nervous about what was coming next. I took a taxi from the airport to Khao San Road, where my hostel was. The ride there showed me my first look at Bangkok's busy streets. There were so many cars and motorbikes, and lots of colorful shops and food stands everywhere. Khao San Road was even busier and more colorful than the streets I saw from the taxi. It's a famous place where many travelers go. The street was full of food stands, bars, and places to shop. My hostel was right in the middle of all this. It was nice and not too expensive. After I put my bags in my room, I went out to explore Khao San Road. I was really hungry, so I tried some Thai food from a stand on the street. I had pad Thai wrapped in an egg. It was so good and didn't cost much. Then I had mango sticky rice for dessert. It was delicious. While I was eating, I met some travelers from Australia. They were very friendly and we talked about the places we've been. It was fun to share stories with them. They told me about some cool spots to check out in Bangkok. I spent the rest of the evening walking around Khao San Road. There was music and lots of people talking and having a good time. I ended the night with a cold Thai beer at a bar, just watching everything happening around me. My first day in Bangkok was full of new sights, sounds, and tastes. I went to bed feeling happy and excited for what was next. Bangkok was already showing me it was a city full of surprises. Chapter 2. Exploring Khao San Road. The next morning, I woke up excited to dive deeper into what Khao San Road had to offer. After a quick breakfast at the hostel, I stepped out into the bright sunlight, ready for a day of exploration. Khao San Road in the daylight was a different scene from the night before. The street was waking up, with vendors setting up their stalls and the smell of fresh food starting to fill the air. The buzz of the night had calmed down, but the energy of anticipation for the day ahead was just as infectious. My first stop was a small cafe I noticed, famous for its Thai iced tea. The drink was sweet, creamy, and refreshing, a perfect start to a warm Bangkok day. As I sipped my tea, I watched as the streets slowly came to life, with tourists and locals mingling, each going about their day. Curious to see more, I wandered down the side streets branching off from Khao San Road. I found little shops selling handmade jewelry, clothing, and all sorts of souvenirs. It was fun to browse and see all the crafts and creativity on display. As I explored, I stumbled upon a street artist painting a colorful mural. It was beautiful and so detailed. We chatted a bit. He told me about his art and how Khao San Road inspires him. It was really cool to hear about the area from someone who creates art here. Lunchtime led me to a small eatery popular with locals. I tried a dish called Som Tam, a spicy papaya salad, and grilled chicken. Both were delicious and a bit spicy for me, but I enjoyed every bite. Eating where the locals eat made me feel a bit more like a part of the city, even if just for a meal. In the afternoon, I joined a free walking tour I heard about from the hostel. Our guide was a Bangkok native who loved sharing stories about the city's history and culture. We saw hidden temples, learned about local traditions, and even visited a small market known only to locals. The tour was a highlight, offering insights I would have missed on my own. As the tour ended, I found myself back on Khao San Road, which was starting to buzz with evening energy again. The day had been full of discoveries, from hidden gems just off the main road to the flavors of Thai cuisine and the stories of the people who call this city home. I finished the day with a group of fellow travelers I met on the tour. We shared a meal at an open-air restaurant, swapping stories and tips for traveling in Thailand. It was the perfect way to end a day full of exploration and new friendships. Heading back to the hostel, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for all the experiences Khao San Road had offered me in just one day. Bangkok was proving to be a city of endless surprises, and I couldn't wait to see what adventures awaited me next. Chapter 3. The Grand Palace. On my third day, I planned to see the Grand Palace. It's a famous place in Bangkok and very important. I had seen pictures, but I was excited to see it myself. After breakfast, I took a bus to get there. The bus was crowded but okay. When I arrived, the palace looked even more amazing than in photos. It was huge and very beautiful. The walls and roofs were colorful and shiny. First, I bought a ticket and joined a group with a guide. The guide spoke English and knew a lot. He told us about the palace's history and why it's so special. We learned about kings and important events there. We saw many buildings inside the palace. Each one had its own story. The most special was the Emerald Buddha Temple. We couldn't take pictures inside, but it was very peaceful and pretty. In the temple, I met another traveler, Anna. She was from Spain and also traveling alone. We decided to explore together. It was nice to have someone to talk to and share the experience with. Anna and I saw many statues and beautiful decorations. Everything was detailed and had meaning. The guide explained about Thai culture and traditions. It was very interesting. After the tour, Anna and I walked around the palace gardens. They were calm and had many flowers. We talked about our trips and what we liked about Bangkok. It was good to make a new friend. Visiting the Grand Palace was a highlight of my trip. It was not just beautiful but also very meaningful. I learned a lot about Thailand and its people. It was a day I would always remember. Anna and I said goodbye at the palace. We exchanged contacts and promised to share our travel pictures. I left feeling happy and full of new knowledge. Bangkok had so much history, and I was glad to see some of it. Chapter 4. Floating Market Adventure. Day 4 was all about visiting the Damnan Sajuak floating market. I hopped on a tour bus early in the morning. Everyone on the bus was excited. The ride there was full of laughter and stories. When we got there, the market was busy. Boats filled with colorful fruits and tasty food floated past us. It looked just like in the pictures but even better. I jumped into a boat with a local guide. We moved through the water, passing boats that sold everything from noodles to souvenirs. I bought a straw hat and tried some snacks. Everything was so fresh. Next to me, an Italian couple was trying to chat. We laughed a lot, trying to keep our boats close. They recommended some food to try. I followed their advice and wasn't disappointed. We stopped at a boat selling coconut pancakes. They were sweet and perfect. Eating them on the water made them even tastier. After exploring, our group met up again. We all shared what we had seen and bought. The floating market was a hit for everyone. We returned to Bangkok chatting non-stop about our morning. I exchanged numbers with the Italian couple, promising to share photos. The floating market wasn't just fun. It showed me a unique part of Thai culture. I loved every bit of it. Chapter 5. Wat Pho and the Reclining Buddha. The next day, Wat Pho was my destination. Famous for the giant reclining Buddha, I was eager to see it. I caught the bus, excited for the day ahead. Wat Pho wasn't just big, it was majestic, filled with beautiful buildings and quiet spots. Seeing the reclining Buddha was unforgettable. The statue was enormous and covered in shimmering gold. Just looking at it made me feel peaceful. I wandered around the temple, taking in the stunning murals and statues. The smell of incense was everywhere, adding to the temple's sacred feel. I decided to try a meditation session. It was challenging but also calming. I felt more peaceful afterward. During the session, I met Priya, who was visiting from India. She knew a lot about meditation and shared her knowledge with me. We walked around the temple together, talking about different spiritual practices. Priya pointed out interesting details about the temple's design. I learned a lot from her. It made the visit even more meaningful. After we left Wat Pho, I felt refreshed and thoughtful. Priya and I agreed to meet up again later. Wat Pho was more than a tourist spot, it was a place of peace and learning. I was glad I went. Chapter 6. Night out in Sukhumvit. On my 6th day, I decided to see Bangkok at night. I went to Sukhumvit, a place with many bars and clubs. I heard it was fun and wanted to check it out myself. The streets were full of lights and music. There were so many people walking around, eating, and having a good time. I felt excited to be there. First, I found a rooftop bar. It was high up and I could see all of Bangkok from there. The lights from the buildings looked beautiful. I met some people who were also traveling. We talked and enjoyed the view together. It was really nice. After that, we walked down Sukhumvit Road. There were street food carts everywhere. I tried some snacks. They were tasty and very different from what I usually eat. My new friends liked them too. We also listened to live music. There was a band playing outside. The music was good and everyone was happy. It made me feel like dancing. Later, we went to a small club. The music was loud and the place was crowded. But it was fun. I danced with my friends and we all laughed a lot. When the night was over, I was tired but happy. Sukhumvit at night was so lively. I saw many new things and made friends. It was one of my best nights in Bangkok. I went back to my hostel, thinking about the fun I had. Bangkok at night is very special. I was glad I went out to explore. On day 7, I went to a huge market called Chatuchak Weekend Market. I heard it was one of the biggest markets in the world. I was ready to see lots of things and maybe buy some gifts. When I got there, the market was very busy. There were so many shops and stalls. They sold everything you can think of: clothes, food, art, and even pets. I walked around, looking at all the things for sale. The market was like a maze, with so many paths to explore. I found some cool t-shirts and handmade bracelets. They were not expensive, so I bought a few to take home. At lunchtime, I tried some Thai food from a market stall. I had a spicy noodle dish. It was very good but very hot. I also drank a coconut water, which was refreshing. In the afternoon, there was a band playing music in one part of the market. They were really good. People were sitting around, enjoying the music. It felt like a big party. I met some other travelers there. We talked and listened to the music together. It was fun to share the experience with others. After the music, I kept exploring. I found a stall with beautiful paintings of Bangkok. I talked to the artist. He told me about his work. I bought a small painting to remember my trip. By the end of the day, I was tired but happy. Chatuchak Market was amazing. There was so much to see and do. I was glad I went there. Going back to my hostel, I thought about all the new things I saw and the people I met. The market was a great place to learn more about Thailand and find some nice things to keep. It was a good day. Chapter 8. Learning to cook Thai food. On my 8th day in Bangkok, I decided to do something different. I signed up for a Thai cooking class. I love Thai food and thought it would be fun to learn how to make it myself. The cooking class was in a small kitchen in the city. When I arrived, there were already other people there. They were from different countries. We all said hello and talked a little about where we were from. The teacher was a Thai lady who was very friendly. She told us we would be making pad Thai, green curry, and mango sticky rice. I was excited because I love all those dishes. First, we went to a local market to buy our ingredients. The market was busy and colorful. There were so many fruits, vegetables, and spices. The teacher showed us what to buy and told us about each thing. Back in the kitchen, we started cooking. The teacher showed us step by step what to do. Making pad Thai was fun. We cooked noodles, added eggs, and mixed in lots of vegetables. The teacher said my pad Thai looked very good. Next, we made green curry. It was a bit harder because we had to mix the right spices. But the teacher helped us, and soon we had a delicious green curry. The last dish was mango sticky rice. It was the easiest but so tasty. We cooked sticky rice and served it with fresh mango and sweet coconut milk. After cooking, we all sat down to eat together. The food was amazing. It was nice to share the meal with new friends. We talked and laughed a lot. The cooking class was one of my favorite experiences in Bangkok. I learned to make Thai food, met great people, and had lots of fun. After the class, I felt happy and full. I couldn't wait to cook Thai food for my friends back home. This day showed me how fun and interesting it can be to learn something new. Chapter 9. Chao Phraya River Cruise. On the 9th day, I decided to see Bangkok from the water. I booked a cruise on the Chao Phraya River. The river goes through Bangkok, and I heard the cruise was a beautiful way to see the city. In the evening, I went to the pier where the cruise started. The boat was big with lights all over. It looked very pretty in the night. Other people were also waiting to get on the boat. Some were tourists like me, and some were Thai people out for a nice time. When the boat started moving, it was amazing. The lights from the city shone on the water. We passed by big temples, tall buildings, and under large bridges. Everything looked different from the river. It was quieter and more peaceful. The boat had dinner for everyone. The food was a mix of Thai dishes and some things I didn't know. Everything was very tasty. I tried a little bit of everything. Eating on the boat, watching Bangkok go by, was a special feeling. There was also music on the boat. First, it was soft, nice music. Later, they played faster songs and some people started to dance. I didn't dance, but it was fun to watch. One of the best parts was when we passed the Grand Palace. It was all lit up and looked so beautiful from the river. I took many pictures to remember it. I talked to a family from Japan during the cruise. They were very friendly. We shared stories about our trips in Bangkok. It was nice to meet them and talk. The cruise ended after a few hours. I felt a bit sad it was over, but I was also very happy. I saw Bangkok in a new way and it was very beautiful. Walking back to my hostel, I thought about all the things I saw from the boat. The river cruise was a highlight of my trip. Bangkok at night from the river was something I would never forget. It was a perfect end to another great day in the city. Chapter 10. Day Trip to Ayutthaya. On my 10th day in Bangkok, I went on a day trip to Ayutthaya, the ancient capital of Thailand. I had read about its historic temples and ruins, and I couldn't wait to explore them myself. The journey to Ayutthaya started early in the morning. I joined a small tour group, and we all got on a bus together. The ride was about an hour, giving us all a chance to see the countryside outside Bangkok. It was so different from the city, with lots of green fields and small towns along the way. When we arrived in Ayutthaya, I was amazed. The place was full of old temples and ruins. It felt like stepping back in time. Our guide, a friendly man who knew a lot about Ayutthaya's history, took us to see the most famous sites. First, we visited Wat Mahathat, where there's a famous Buddha head entwined in tree roots. It was incredible to see it in person. Our guide told us stories about the temple and how it got destroyed many years ago. It was fascinating and a bit sad to think about the history. Next, we went to Wat Phra Si Sanfit. It was once part of the royal palace, and you could really see how grand it must have been. The big stupas there were impressive. Walking around, I could almost imagine what life was like back then. We had lunch near the ruins. The food was simple but very good. It was nice to sit and eat with the group, talking about what we had seen so far. In the afternoon, we visited a few more temples. Each one had its own story and unique things to see. I took lots of pictures to remember everything. One of the best parts of the day was meeting a Thai guide at one of the temples. He was very kind and shared even more stories about Ayutthaya with us. He made the history come alive with his words. As the day ended, we all got back on the bus to Bangkok. I felt tired but so happy I had gone to Ayutthaya. It was a day full of history, beautiful sights, and new friends. The trip to Ayutthaya was definitely a highlight of my time in Thailand. Seeing the ancient ruins and learning about the past was an experience I would always remember. It made me appreciate Thailand's history even more.